Chapter 4, Lesson 2 talks about relations. So let's get right to work. So it talks about a relation is any set of ordered pairs. So if they give you a set of ordered pairs such as this, that's what they're talking about. A relation is just a set of any ordered pairs. Relations can be represented as a table and a graph. So if I take these right here and I can make a table, you know that the first coordinate is the x, and the second coordinate is the y. Just like in the alphabet, x comes first, y comes second. Okay? So let's get some vocab out of the way. And this is very important stuff, so I'd make sure that you are writing this down. Things that you need to keep straight. The domain. Big fancy mathematical word. Basically it means whatever x values you sub into it. Whatever x values you have, that's the domain. And whenever I just said whichever ones you sub into it, so they're also the inputs. All right, so domain, x, input, all three interchangeable words. Let's talk about the other one, range. Range is a mathematical term which basically talks about the y coordinate of the ordered pair. And if the x is the input, then the y would be the output. All right, so these are things that you also need to memorize, that you put these together. These are all interchangeable. So if I say, what's the range? I'm basically asking you for the y, which is what you get out of something once you sub an x into it. So domain, x, input, range, y, output. So make sure, please, 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 make sure you've got these in your notes and you know the difference between them. Always an ISET test question, always. All right, so when we talk about this, let's look at example 1 here. Let's scroll down here just a little bit. Express the relation, and so they put them in braces right here. That puts them together as a relation, all those ordered pairs. As a table and as a graph, then state the domain and range. So basically what they're saying is they want you to put 2, 6. 2, 6. They want you to put the ordered pair as a graph. X coordinates in one column, y coordinates in another. Make sure that they are across from each other. That designates the ordered pair. So 2, 6, negative 4, 8, negative 3, 6, and 0, negative 4. That is it as a table. So when they say represent it as a graph, it simply means graph those points. So graph 2, 6, graph negative 4, negative 8, graph negative 3, 6, and graph 0, negative 4. So just put it as a graph. Now, here's the part that I want you to pay close attention to. It wants you to actually list out domain. You can either write the word or you can put a capital D. That's fine with me. And it wants you to list them as a set of numbers, which means it wants you to put them in a brace. Does not mean that you put them in parentheses. When you designate a set of numbers, you do put them in a brace. Now, it wants your domain, which are your x coordinates. That would be these right here. And you always list them from least to greatest and do not include any duplicates. So we've got negative 4, negative 3, 0, 2. That is the domain. And again, you might not make perfect braces, although braces usually make perfect teeth, don't they? Different kind of brace. But just try your best, okay? So then you've also got the range. Range is the y coordinates. So brace, now we're talking about y's. So least to greatest, negative 8, negative 4, and 6. Notice that there are 2 6s. You do not need to list them twice. Whenever I list the range, I mean what are the possible outcomes? What are the outcomes if I substitute these numbers in there? You don't need to have an outcome listed as 6 more than once. So we know that there's a 6, so you just list once and move on. So domain, negative 4, negative 3, 0, 2. Range, negative 8, negative 4, and 6. And you take that information right there from the chart. Okay. So let's move on down and see if you've got it. So I want you to pause it, try it, come back to me. All right, back with me. Hopefully this is what you've got going on here. If these are the ordered pairs that you are talking about, and if it says make a chart, you simply put them in the chart. X is on the left, Y is on the right. In an ordered pair, X's are on the left, Y's are on the right. So I've got 3, -1, 6, 2, 1, 7. And then if it says state them as a graph, then you're simply going to graph them on here. But now look at this graph. I want you to notice anytime they have something like that, see what the intervals are. These are counting by 2s. All right, so if I've got -5, it's going to be after -4, before -6, 2, right there. I'm going to erase the other one there. That was just where I put my pen, so you don't think it's another point. 3, -1, right about there. 6, 2, and 1, 7. Graph 4 points and you're done, okay? With a graph anyway. Now it says domain and range. So I'm going to list domain. If you don't want to write out domain, don't have to. Domain, I'm going to take it from the chart just because it's easier to see than trying to pick out all of these. So domain listed from least to greatest. -5, 1, 3, 6. Range, again, in the brace. Range are my Y values. You do not have to list things that are duplicated from least to greatest. -1, 2, 7. Okay, that's what we got. All right, let's move down here to word problem. I know how you love word problems. I know it. You don't even have to say it, my pets. You don't even have to say it. All right, it costs $3 per hour to park at the Wildwood Amusement Park. Yeah, as if it only costs $3 to park at an amusement park. Anyway, make a table of the ordered pairs in which the x-coordinate represents the hours and the y-coordinate represents total cost. So if it were me, I would even take and write right above your x and your y. These are the hours, just that way you can keep yourself straight. These are your hours, y is the cost. And it tells you for 3, 4, 5, and 6 hours. That tells you the x values that they want. So make a table of ordered pairs for x, and it wants you to find the total cost. If it costs $3 an hour, that doesn't take a lot of rocket science to figure out. $3 an hour, 3 hours, $9. 4 hours, 12. 5 hours, 15. 6 hours, 18. I'm just multiplying that. It's $3 per hour, 3 hours, $9. Graph it. You're going to graph 3, 9, 4, 12, 5, 15, 6, 18. That's it. It doesn't say state the domain and range, so if it does not state it, you do not have to do it. Okay. I want you to try got it, so pause it, try that please. All right, so if they are talking about a movie rental store, charges $3.95 per movie rental. Make a table of ordered pairs in which the x-coordinate represents the number of movies, so x is the movies, and y is the cost. For a total cost of 1, 2, 3, or 4 movies, they are telling you what x values to use. Okay, so if I want to know the y values for 1 movie, $3.95. For 2 movies, $3.95 times 2. That would be $7.90. 3, you're going to take $3.95, 9, 5 times 3. $11.85. And lastly 4, $3.95 times 4. No, it can't be $14.80, that's 12. Carry the 3, sorry, $15.80. And then you would take and graph these ordered pairs. 1, $3.95, 2, $7.90, 3, $11.85. Now, I know over here you don't quite have a $3.95, so for 1, it should be right up on 4, but not quite. For 2, $7.90, should be right below 8, just a little farther down. 3, $11.85. And 4, $15.80. So not quite to 16, but right up on it. This is a linear function right here. Makes a line if you talk about it. Okay? And if they want you to fill in, they've got to fill in the axes here. So X are the movies. We might even want to say number of movies. And Y value is the cost. All right. So, not bad, right? You can handle this lesson. It's about time they give you an easy one, right? So, really, I just bragged. That's what happens. You brag about something and it just totally goes haywire here. So let's get back to the guided practice. I think you can make the chart pretty well without an issue, but I do want to maybe have you pause it and try 1 and 3. Come back with me and we'll do it. All right, so for the first one, it says make a chart, make a table, state the domain and range. So chart, not a big deal. -4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 3, -3, -2, and I'm getting all that information from my relation right there. If I were to graph those, I think you can graph those without an issue. -4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 3, -3, -2. Okay, not a problem. State the domain and range. The domain in order, in a brace. -4, -3, 0, 2, end brace. Range, in a brace, in order, -2, 1, 3. Again, you do not have to list duplicates, so that is the range. Down here at number 3, $20 per hour for a personal watercraft. Make a table, and it says for 1, 2, 3, or 4 hours, X coordinate represents the number of hours, and it tells you it wants 1, 2, 3, and 4. Y value, $20 an hour. So 1 times 20, 2 times 20, 3 times 20, 4 times 20. And then you just simply come over there and graph those ordered pairs. 1, 20, 2, 40, 3, 60, 4, 80. Again, that's linear. So if we talk about the X is the number of hours, and this would be the cost. All right, guys, with that, I think you're going to be good. This ought to be an easy lesson. Hopefully some easy A's here. If you have any questions while you're going through it, as always, come see me. Good luck.